take a look at Guaranteed Trust Bank results. Their profit is below target. What are some of the reasons behind that?
The major reasons, as usual, well, going by what has been happening this year, is the provisioning that all banks have had to do. GT Bank provisioned 20.7 billion naira as the last results that were released. This is part of the reforms that are going on. Every bank is supposed to do this. It started with First Bank at the beginning of this year, and Oceanic Bank has followed suit, and a lot of other banks have done the same thing. So GT Bank, it is part of the reforms, and it is entirely really necessary for all the banks to do this at this point in time.
What should this bank be doing in terms of picking up their profit margins?
Well, at this moment, I think the focus for these banks right now is to minimize cost, which seems to be high in the Nigerian banking industry. Then, at the same time, the focus right now is to, because these are all provisioning, and once they can get back these loans from the oil and gas industry and all the other industries that they've been exposed to, then they can always write this back into their books. In terms of profit margins, I think it's just to focus on banking business, which has been the call in this industry, that most of these banks should now focus on the core banking industry and try to drive retail banking business. Overall, I think at the end of this, once the banks are focused on the retail, focus on the core banking practices, and the profit margins will increase. And I'm pretty sure that by the end of these reforms, a lot of these loans will have been recovered. So.
All right, now let's take a look at the NSE performance for today. Take us through the movement on the bourse.
At this moment, we do not have the index closed for today, but we've seen a lot of activity following from last week's figures. We had a total of 54 gainers today. We had 28 losers. We had 42 unchanged. The top gainers today were UAC Nigeria, RT Briscoe, GSK. We also had WAPCO and IBTC gaining the maximum 5%. We also saw the top losers as Access Bank, Standard Insurance, and Fidson Pharmaceuticals, which lost the maximum 5%. We see that the market right now, there's a lot of activity in the market right now. From last week, we've seen increase in the volumes and values of trades that have been happening. And I believe investor confidence, since the visit of the CBN governor, I believe investor confidence has increased in the market. And we're going to see marginal increases going forward through to the end of this week. And investors are cautious in a sense. They're investing in specific stocks, and the bad news for the banks that have been exposed to the stock market, that have been exposed to the banking reforms, the 5 banks that were exposed, is that the stock price is still on the decline. The exception is only First Inland Bank, which managed to gain like 6 kobo from the all-time low of 96 kobo you experienced last week. So, but all in all, I think there is increased activity. Investors are getting more confident of the industry, and I believe this trend will go on further till the end of this week.